I get that he was supposed to be the villain, but this was a justified crash out. Spoilers if you didn't see Lord of the Rings War of Rohirrim. When I did research about this film, I knew immediately that I was going to root for Wulf. Because at the end of the day, he was fighting against a man who was being discriminatory, occupying his homeland, and punched his father to death. And I'm not going to hold you. This film really confirmed those things for me. I liked Wulf and I totally understood his plight. He was a very cool character, but he had a lot of flaws. He was prideful, he was rude, and he was very paranoid. He knew he was going to reject any request that came from Freka before they sat down. And we hear that during the conversation between the Shield Maiden and Hera when they're coming to the small council meeting, where she's essentially saying like, that's kind of crazy that Freka would call this meeting. Only the king should be doing this. He's comfortable and he wants more and he's being greedy. And yes, Freka did make a request for the hand of the king's daughter. But honestly, I thought that that request was reasonable. This man had an heir, a spare, and a nephew. Marrying off his daughter made sense, especially since they were occupying the Dunderlands. And I'm not an expert here, but this is what I got from the film. This seemed like an easy way to garner peace amongst the people. Not just that, but his son was nothing to sneeze at. He didn't bring no dirty, gross son that had a reputation for abuse. In fact, his son already had a relationship with Hera. It was clear that Helm, Hera, and the rest of her family looked down on the Dunderlands and couldn't see her getting married to him. Know that Hera herself was like, listen, this is not the type of thing that I want to do. But Helm was not saying no because he was like, I respect my daughter's wishes. And you know what? Even after Helm punched his father to death, I still can't get over that. He then yoked up my man's in front of all of his people. I'm sorry, but I gotta come and kill everybody here. You know what? Even after he got an army, even after he was in a position to take over and dethrone Helm, he gave Hera another opportunity. He was like, listen, I rock with you. I love you. We know each other. Let's do this thing. And Hera said, ugh. Again, I'm gonna have to kill you and everyone you love. And that's what made this film so good, because I felt Wulf this entire time. He was slighted on multiple occasions. And considering what type of time they live in and how they express themselves, it would make sense that the only course of action was war. The film also was sure to show us that this revenge was consuming him. This mission has now taken over his life to the point where he cannot see reason. I will say though, Hera coming out in a wedding dress to fight him was another ounce of disrespect. And just like him, I wouldn't honor that fight either. Because once again, y'all are showing that y'all don't respect me as a person, as a leader, and that's why I'm here. At the end of the day, pride is the real villain of this story. Helm's pride and paranoia and wanting to keep that throne just to himself, and I would say the other white people, is the reason why that war started in the first place. It also caused him to exile his nephew, who did his job. He was mad at his nephew for protecting his daughter. Like, she came home without a scratch on her and you go and talk crazy to me? This man was mean. And that's why his home was unprotected. He didn't have the resources he needed, and why everyone knew that he wouldn't even ask Gondor for help either. And on the flip side, all of the damage to Wulf's pride drastically affected his decisions and caused, a war that could have been won to really fall by the wayside. He wasn't making good decisions. He killed that prince when he didn't need to. He kind of waited them out in that snow when there were other ways. They could have done other things. And that's what made this story so good. No one was perfect. No one was in the right. They still found a way to have us rally behind Hera. Loved it.